What do a shattered hub, a whiff of silver's heyday, and a year that doesn't show its face on pocket change have in common? They all converge in the tale of the 1974 Kennedy half dollar, a coin that slipped under the radar of everyday commerce, yet shines brightly for those who know where to look. Born in a period when mint sets held pride of place over pocket jingles, this half dollar carries an aura of mystery, blending post-1960s mint policy shifts with a dash of collector intrigue. Its surface whispers of mounting demand from hobbyists even as it eluded the cash register, and that makes it a treasure hunt worth pursuing. The story begins just a decade after President Kennedy's tragic end, when Congress greenlit a memorial coin whose striking portrait would grace half dollars from 1964 onward. By 1974, the nation's silver reserves had dwindled, and the U.S. Mint had already swapped pure silver for a copper-nickel-clad composition. Demand for half dollars in day-to-day transactions had evaporated, so the Philadelphia and Denver mints shifted to producing these coins solely for mint sets. Only 9.1 million pieces rolled out of Philadelphia and 3.2 million from Denver for collectors, a fraction compared to the hundreds of millions that had circulated in the 1960s. That limited mintage, combined with the unavailability of coins and pocket change, set the stage for scarcity in uncirculated condition. Add to that the fact that many original sets were broken up or lost over half a century, and you have a recipe for true rarity lurking in roll-ins and forgotten albums. Zero in on a genuine 1974 Kennedy half, and you'll notice subtleties that separate the ordinary from the exceptional. The clad layers present a bright, silvery sheen encasing a reddish core, an echo of the Eisenhower era but rendered lighter than earlier 64 to 69 issues. Watch the designer's initials at the truncation of Kennedy's neck, a small FG for Frank Gasparo, nestled under the bust's shoulder. On some coins, lightly struck letters in the motto, E pluribus unum, betray a slight die fatigue, while perfectly sharp lines on high-grade pieces point to crisp hub impressions. Errors make this coin's story even more compelling. Certain P-Mint specimens exhibit double-die obverse features, a whisper of misaligned hubbing that doubles the date and the motto. Others show faint die-clashing scars on Liberty's portrait. Spotting these varieties demands a trained eye and a magnifier, but unearthing one can catapult a half dollar from a $5 find to a several $100 prize. Numbers tell a vivid part of the story. Common, circulated examples trade hands for as little as $1.50 to $3 at dealer showcases, or even in large lots online. Jump to an uncirculated Mint State 63 coin, and values rest around $5 to $10, sometimes edging toward $15 when the strike remains solid. Collectors prize MS-65 specimens at $30 to $50, while an MS-67 coin, with blazing luster and no contact marks, routinely fetches $75 to $100 in private sales. The most sought-after double-die obverse can command between $400 and $800, depending on strike strength and eye appeal. Auction records tell a dramatic tale. A PCGS-graded MS-67 DDO piece reached $1,200 in a specialty sale last year, reflecting how a minor mint flaw can ignite fierce bidding. Even Denver Mint errors, once overlooked, have posted five-figure prices when paired with top-tier grades at major auction houses. Beyond dollar signs and registry numbers, a handful of anecdotes bring this half dollar to life. A West Coast collector famously discovered an unsearched roll at a small-town bank in 1998, pulling 7 MS-64 coins and a single DDO that paid for his daughter's college tuition. Museum curators once puzzled over a set of 1974s missing from a mint gift collection, only to find them repurposed as buttons in mid-70s jackets, proof that these coins could vanish in plain sight. A well-worn specimen surfaced in the late 2000s in a hoarded jar of 70s pocket change, rescued by a young coin show dealer who realized what he had before melting it down. Such stories remind seasoned collectors that even coins born into specialized sets can slip into the wild, waiting decades to reveal their true worth. Condition plays a starring role in value, perhaps more so here than with any other post. 1964 half dollar. A piece showing moderate bag marks and softened peripheral details, graded as about uncirculated, might settle near $4 to $6. In contrast, A brilliant MS-65 Dazzler with sharp devices and no oxidation can more than quadruple that figure. Collectors prize original mint luster above all, so a coin removed carefully from its mint-set sleeve, free from fingerprints or toning, can outshine and outsell one with pristine fields but scattered abrasions. Even toning patterns add nuance. Subtle robin's egg bluish or pale gold hues on the fields can attract premium bids, while heavy, patchy toning often detracts. Those pursuing the coveted MS-67 release aim for zero distractions, flawless strikes, razor-sharp rims, and mirror-like surfaces that reflect the coin's birth in high-detail hubs. As the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar fades into its role as a specialist prize, thoughts begin to drift toward another year, another set of mysteries lying in wait. Just as this coin challenges assumptions about scarcity and minting policy, the 1973 half-dollar promises its own blend of low-mintage lore and error-driven excitement. Soon enough, attention will shift to uncovering the quirks that make that data stand out in modern collecting. Stay tuned for a look at how a single year can conceal fortunes in clad composition and why the hunt never loses its thrill. Having peeled back the layers on the 1974 half-dollar, let's turn our attention to a coin that carries its own blend of subtle rarity and minting quirks, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. At first glance, it seems unremarkable, another clad commemorative struck solely for collector sets. But look closer, and you'll discover a story of shifting mint policy, die varieties, and a small but devoted following that keeps demand simmering. By the end of this journey, you'll see why a seemingly common date can conceal hidden gems waiting to be found. The tale of the 1973 half-dollar begins in an era when Washington was still feeling the aftershocks of the silver shortage. After pouring billions of silver dollars and half-dollars into circulation in the 1960s, the mint had pivoted entirely to copper-nickel-clad coinage by 1971. With day-to-day demand for half-dollars evaporating, the Philadelphia and Denver mints struck these coins exclusively for annual collector sets, rather than packaging them by the roll and watching them disappear in pocket change. In 1973, the Kennedys retained Frank Gasparo's bold profile on the obverse and the presidential seal on the reverse, but the context had shifted. These were collector pieces from inception, not workaday money. Mintage figures underline that shift. Philadelphia minted 17,505,000 of the 1973 half-dollars for its uncirculated set, while Denver's output was 9,660,000 for the same purpose. Contrast that with the 1964 strikes, over 240 million minted for circulation, and you get a sense of the scale reduction. Even though millions might sound ample, consider how many sets have been broken up for individual coins or misplaced over the past 5 decades. When you hunt through estate collections, old dealer stocks, or unsearched mint state sets, these numbers translate into real scarcity, particularly in the higher grades and for error or specialty strike pieces. Spotting an authentic 1973 half-dollar is straightforward if you know what to look for. Its composition is unmistakably clad, a silvery outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel hides a pure copper core. The edge bears the familiar reeded pattern, unchanged since the series began. On the obverse, Kennedy's tresses and the fine details of the laurel wreath framing his head hold clues to strike quality. Underneath the truncation of the neck, you'll find the tiny FG initials of Gasparo. The reverse's eagle, clutching arrows and olive branch, should display crisp feathers radiating from the central shield. On weakly struck pieces, these elements may appear soft or faint, especially in the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date. Errors and die varieties add an extra dimension to collecting the 1973 half. A handful of Philadelphia specimens show a double die obverse, where the date and motto letters exhibit a shadowy second impression. These double dies are much scarcer than the 1974 varieties, with true examples estimated in the low hundreds. Die cracks also emerge around the shield on the reverse, forming thin, raised lines that collectors prize as spiderweb errors. On rare occasions, you'll encounter repunched mint marks, particularly on Denver pieces, where an initial D was poorly positioned and then overpunched, leaving ghostly echoes of a second letter. Broad strikes, too. turn up on occasion, coins missing part or all of their reading, indicating the planchet slipped beyond the collar at striking. Understanding rarity means balancing mintage figures with survival rates. While more than 27 million 1973 has existed at the Mint, many were used as display pieces, turned into jewelry, or simply forgotten in envelopes. The greatest hurdle for survivors is damage. Bag marks from careless handling, light hairlines from removal of coins with a knife, or toning that obscures detail. As a result, mint state grades above MS65 are comparatively scarce. Registry set enthusiasts often chase the top spots, driving demand for pristine examples with original surfaces and no detracting contact marks. Market values for the 1973 half-dollar track its condition and variety. Circulated coins change hands for $1.50 to $3 at local shows or online auctions. And about uncirculated 58 Australian dollars piece, showing only the lightest wear on high points, commands around $3 to $6. Once you cross into mint state territory, MS63 coins typically sell for $6 to $10, while MS65 examples rise to $15 or $20. Coins graded MS67, with full, frosty luster and minimal imperfections, often list in the $30 to $50 range. The rare double-die obverse pieces push those figures dramatically higher. Certified PCGS MS65 DDO coins can fetch $400 to $600, and an MS67 might reach $1,000 or more at specialist auctions. Speaking of auctions, standout sales highlight the coin's potential for big returns. In late 2023, a PCGS-graded MS67 DDO realized $1,250 in a heritage sale, surprising even seasoned dealers. A registry-quality MS68 example, one of perhaps a half-dozen certified, brought in over $2,200 at a prominent California auction in early 2024. On the reverse error front, a Broadstrike UF.60 sold for $350, thanks to its dramatic lack of reading and full, brilliant surfaces. These results underscore a simple truth. Even a modest date like 73 can ignite fierce competition when rarity and eye appeal align. Beyond the numbers lie stories that give the 1973 half-real personality. A Midwest hobbyist once uncovered a single Philly DDO in a mismarked proof set sold for face value at a small coin club auction. That find paid for his wife's dream vacation. On the East Coast, a dealer discovered 6 MS65 specimens in a broken-up mint set donated to a church fundraiser. 2 were later attributed to errors and tripled his initial investment. Another tale involves a long-forgotten specimen that surfaced in a thrift shop antique frame, rooted into a pin display, and passed off as costume jewelry, rescued just in time by a collector with a keen eye. For those who relish nuance, 1973 Kennedy has offered yet more variety. Cameo and deep cameo contrasts appear in the special mint sets, the predecessor to the modern proof, with frosted devices and mirrored fields. Although these SMS coins aren't struck as sharply as later proofs, the interplay of light and matte textures can be captivating, and they trade at a slight premium over standard uncirculated specimens. Planchet issues, such as slight lamination flaws where the clad layers separate, also crop up in small numbers, creating coins with ephemeral surface blemishes that some variety collectors pursue. In weighing condition-based values, never underestimate the impact of cleaning or environmental damage. A coin buffed lightly to remove toning may show tiny luster breaks that grade down significantly, while coins with original cartwheel flash, an effect of mirror-like surfaces turning in the light, can outpace similar pieces by 20 to 30%. Toning patterns further complicate the picture. Soft amber, ocean blue, or rose gold toning that appears naturally over decades can add $10 to $20, while harsh, uneven toning might shave that same amount off. Collectors who seek registry rankings will pay premiums for coins with both rarity and impeccable eye appeal, making every mark and hue crucial to final value. Ultimately, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar stands as a testament to how a coin minted for collectors can still slip into the wild, only to be rediscovered years later by someone who didn't even know what they were holding. Whether you're hunting for a strong MS-67 specimen, chasing the shadowy double-die obverse, or simply enjoying the subtle glow of a well-toned piece, this date delivers more surprises than its modest mintage suggests. As you pack away your loupe and reflect on the lustrous surface of that silver-colored disc, remember that each 1973 half carries within it a microcosm of minting history and the thrill of discovery that keeps even veteran collectors coming back for one more look.